Uh, Welcome to this time and to this space of this digital place of the Google Hangout, YouTube channel, Facebook Live, in all these wonderful ways of getting to spend time with each other. I am Anil Sachdev. I am the chief servant of the School of Inspired Leadership. This school was created 10 years back to begin a new conversation in our world. You see, you and I spend more time in the workplace than we do at home. So if we develop trust with each other, if we pursue quality, if we follow the right values, then we return home energized, believing in the right ways to get ahead. And that then spreads to our families, to our community, and indeed the whole country can be transformed if workplaces create more meaning and joy and they become places of well-being while serving society for its needs. That's how SOIL started, because we said we want to develop young leaders who take responsibility for the way we live now, who have a certain dream. And we said that we will attract those young people who may be from small towns, who may not belong to affluent families, who may not necessarily be scoring 99.9 percentile on CAT, but these young people have a dream. They have certain creative intelligence. They have certain emotional intelligence. They are willing to work extraordinarily hard to achieve their dreams. These were the people we wanted to attract to SOIL. We were not impressed because they had studied in a so-called well-known public school, or they spoke glibly, or they had topped their classes, but we wanted those who truly cared and who wanted to do something to make the world better. And over the last 10 years, SOIL has graduated 1,000 alumni from our full-time one-year postgraduate program who are now working all over the world. Some of them have become entrepreneurs. Some of them are social entrepreneurs. Many are occupying senior leadership positions in companies. We are very proud of the progress our alumni have made. 37% of our alumni are now working all over the world, from North America to Europe to the Far East. With this 10 years of track record of providing truly transformational learning to our students, we are now ready to announce and launch our second campus at Manesar, 20 kilometers from the downtown Gurgaon area, where we have our city business school. Just off the highway in Manesar, which is part of the new Gurgaon, we are creating this beautiful new campus, which is almost 10 times bigger than our current campus in Gurgaon, where we are launching one of the most unique programs on the 2 years postgraduate program on what we call business design. What is business design? This is taking our conversation on inspired leadership deeper. We are saying that in this 2 years program, we want to attract fresh young minds who are just out of college, who may have studied arts, commerce, science, engineering, hotel management, business. It doesn't matter what they have studied. But these young people, many of whom are creative, many of whom have this understanding that they want to become innovators. They want to do something new to improve things. So the focus is on innovation. And we are designing the whole 2-year program like a 2-year innovation journey. What is innovation? Innovation is you can join a company and improve the products and services or improve the process. Innovation is that you can invent a new product and launch it. Or you can develop a whole new business model like Uber has done, or Oyo has done, or all these wonderful new disruptions have done. So whether it is small, continuous improvement, or it is a step innovation, or it's a big business model disruption, all is an innovation. Innovation requires a certain mindset. The School of Inspired Leadership is often referred to also as the School of Innovative Learning, SOIL, Innovative Learning, Inspired Learning. So let me explain the 5 steps involved in innovation, which is from the framework of design thinking. In the first step, we learn to be fully present, to practice mindfulness, pure awareness, and observe the needs of our stakeholders in their natural habitat. So observe people in society, carefully pay attention to the way they are living, the way they are using certain products and services. When we do that, we are learning to see the world the way the world is, not through the biases of who we are. When we learn to pay that kind of complete attention, at that moment, we learn the skills which comes out of liberal arts, establishing trust with the community, with the society, so that we can observe without people feeling self-conscious, comes out of understanding sociology. Understanding their hearts and minds comes out of psychology. Truly understanding how to do this kind of research to observe people in their natural habitat comes out of social anthropology. So all these disciplines of sociology, anthropology, psychology, philosophy, they are meant to help us to observe the way the world is, to build trust by not intervening artificially. When we learn to do that, and therefore in the first several months we are teaching this liberal arts. It's the first school that will begin the study of management by studying liberal arts. And because we are very proud of our Indian spiritual and cultural heritage, in the same initial few months we will also be made more aware of the great thinkers and leaders and poets and artists from India, so that we are able to get inspired by their work. So that's phase one, observation and listening to people in their natural habitat. If you are working with companies, to study and observe people who are their employees. If you are going to the market, it's to study the customer. If it is to observe the farmers in the farming community next to our campus in Manesar, it is to look at the way they are leading their lives. If it is to observe the government departments, for example, the Aadhaar identity, the unique Indian identity, which is there, the headquarters of Aadhaar are next to our new campus. The National Security Guard, the Black Cat Commandos of India, their headquarters are in Manesar. The Institute of Corporate Affairs of Government of India, which is supposed to raise ethical standards, is next to our campus. So our students could potentially study people in these national institutions. They could study farmers, they could study the residents of Manesar, they could study the employees of all the organizations, or they could study their customers. The whole idea is to observe and listen to people in their natural habitat. That's all you do in social work first. Just observe without judgment. Learn about how they're leading their life. Look at their needs. And the next part of the journey is to really source the feeling of empathy within you. By this time, the foundation courses of management start. You are exposed to what is an organization, what is organizational behavior, what is customer, what is a shareholder, what is the study of economics and finance. All these subjects are being taught simultaneously as we enter the second phase of this education. At that moment, your thinking is becoming broader. You are being made to encourage to scope from within you the feeling of empathy. Because after you have observed, you begin to, when you are more aware, then you begin to care. You begin to, with your broader worldview, understand the genuine needs of the stakeholders. There are tools which we teach now simultaneously on the subject of design thinking. What is interaction design, which, for example, institutions like National Institute of Design, NID in Ahmedabad region, which we will bring into this school. How do you prepare empathy maps? Which means when you observe and listen to people with pure awareness, you are observing what they are thinking, what they are feeling, what they are doing, and what they are speaking. When you put these four quadrants of thinking, feeling, action and speech, you are preparing what is called an empathy map, which is a powerful tool of design thinking. With these empathy maps of your stakeholders, learning interaction design, learning the great gift of what is design and design thinking, you have now understood the needs of your stakeholders. Meanwhile, more management subjects are being taught to you on how to understand the world of finance, how to make commercial sense out of an opportunity, how to get the right talent in your organization to begin to think about opportunities and therefore the human resource management, those subjects. In the next step of the School of Business Design, we are now ready to source inspiration and creative ideas. So, the liberal arts education is furthering our thinking on how to transcend our own fears, how to learn from performing arts and music and literature. We will take the students in a train journey to the cultural heritage spots of India and learn from the masterpieces in India and the beauty that we have in our country and the masterpieces of performing arts, music, culture, ancient manuscripts, rich achievements, so that we can source creativity, we can get inspiration, we can overcome all our fears, we can learn from true leaders of India, our freedom fighters, our great innovators, great poets, musicians. And that will help us to become more and more creative. That will generate a large number of ideas. Meanwhile, management education is helping us to think problem solving, think on how to actually convert what appears like a good idea into a large number of creative options, how to adopt a really important strategic process to thinking in critical ways, developing whole systems thinking. That's the third part. The fourth part is really then learning to go deeper into understanding how these creative ideas can be converted into new solutions, products, services, ways of doing better development of quality of life of people, so that in the last part of the program, students who are working in teams will come out with new ideas to actually improve the ways those communities are functioning, the organizations are functioning in which they are doing this work. Meanwhile, they are being given deeper knowledge in the subject of their choice. They can go deeper into analytics, they can go deeper into marketing. These two aspects of really enriching the way we think through analytics and understanding how to serve customers through marketing give the in-depth tracks that students require to develop a full-fledged 2-year master's program, which is going to happen. So, in summary, the first 6 months, preparing for innovation through fieldwork, learning, observation. The next 6 months, working with the community, whether it's a company or it's the local community in which we are coming out with creative ideas. The third 6 months, actually developing those into potential solutions, taking them back to the stakeholders as prototypes of ideas, getting ideas from them on how to implement and how to scale up. And finally, actually creating something which improves the status quo in the company or in the community in which we are serving, and then leaving the system richer and stronger for the next generation of people to work, hopefully the next generation of students to work. This is an attempt to really build harmony between 3 disciplines: the liberal arts discipline, the design thinking discipline, and the management education, which we have. And of course, in management education, all the advanced subjects like learning from artificial intelligence, robotics, machine learning, interpreting that through big data and analytics, understanding digital transformation, those are all aspects that are important. And design thinking, which really is a new way of thinking which sparks innovation. All these are interlinked with sound management knowledge to do a 2-year master's program of a unique kind. I think many of the top schools around the world are attempting to bring these 3 disciplines together. So design thinking is becoming very, very important to people world over. Even the best companies all over the world are attempting to introduce design thinking. All the top engineering and IT companies are trying to learn from liberal arts. Some big companies like Infosys and Wipro and so on. We were with their senior leadership team only 3 months back in asking what they are doing for the future, interacting with their board members. And all of them were telling us as to how much importance they are giving to liberal arts. So even in business development, IT companies are bringing in liberal arts graduates. For example, Infosys is working with the Rhodes School of Design to develop design thinking and liberal arts education amongst all its high potential leaders. Wipro is attempting to do the same thing. Tech Mahindra is doing the same thing. HCL Technology. So Accenture, Microsoft, Facebook, all these companies are learning from design thinking. Google, of course, is a creative example of design thinking. So this whole field which developed in the Silicon Valley, which is now spreading worldwide in major corporations, is a part of our discipline. And we are teaching this unique aspect of liberal arts from an Indian perspective, rich in Indian cultural heritage, to build inspired leaders. And of course, we are teaching all the future-ready courses on management education, on digital transformation, big data, and all that latest thinking that is necessary to make well-rounded leaders. So this is a 2 years, very rich program, interspersed with a learning journey through train to discover the uniqueness of India, a rural immersion to go and spend time amongst the rural poor to learn from them, an internship in a company which also prepares students to apply their knowledge, and also a global immersion to one of the global centers like Japan or China, where there is which are becoming hotbeds of innovation to understand from them. All this is being attempted in a 2-year program for the very first time in the country. The very process of designing the curriculum for this campus is very unique. The chairman of our advisory board is Mr. Muthuraman, the global leader who was in charge of Tata Steel. We have Santosh Desai, who regularly writes a column for Times of India, who is one of India's most creative thinkers in brand and marketing. We have Savita Mahajan, who built the campus for ISB in Mohali and who is an outstanding education leader. We have Dr. Indira Parekh, who founded FLAME, the first liberal arts university in India. And she is part of our advisory board. We have Prateek Kumar, who is the president of Wipro. We have Arun Arora, who is the head of Shroff Hospital, who is trying to solve, just like Arvind Eye Hospital, the need for affordable healthcare and eye care in the country. So we have a very distinguished advisory board who are working closely with us with curriculum design. I and Mr. Muthuraman have personally gone and met CEOs such as Dr. Devi Shetty, the Wipro leadership team, the Infosys leadership team, and we are meeting several others. We met Pawan Goenka. I went and called on him in Mahindra to learn from how Mahindra is preparing for the future. So we are meeting the best leaders. We had a week-long curriculum design exercise in SOIL, in which the Chief Learning Officer of Aditya Birla Group, Ajay Soni, participated for full 6 days. We had many other outstanding educators and researchers and industry people, and these 30 people worked over 1 week to design the curriculum that I am talking to you today about. So right through the last 1 year, we have been having interaction with people all over the world actually in understanding how this new program can be done. We are also extremely pleased that we have a partnership with the world's first university in Tokyo called Shizen-ken, which focuses on whole person leadership and is also exactly like us planning liberal arts, design thinking and innovation and management. SOIL and the founders of Shizen-ken University, Dr. Tomo Noda from Harvard, we have been working together for the last 5 years in senior executive education, and now we have taken the partnership with this new university in Japan. I have joined the global board along with Dr. Clayton Christensen from Harvard Business School, the well-known Dr. Henry Mintzberg, and many other people. 6 of us are on the global board, and we are going to have an exchange program with this Japanese university which has a similar curriculum. Similarly, we have this outstanding relationship with MIP in Italy, one of the top 50 universities of the world, which has a design school, a business school, an engineering school, and an energy school, all located next to each other. They have an amazing design to their master's programs in a combination of business and design. And we have an exchange program already with them. So we are working with hand-picked institutions in other parts of the world, which all of you the first batch of School of Business Design would be very fortunate to take advantage of. Like in soil, we will have individual mentors for every student in the new school as well. These would be faculty mentors as well as external mentors from industry. We will have an individual development plan for each one of you, and we will help you to really learn how to lead yourself in a way that truly inspires you to give off your best. So I think these are my initial thoughts about the whole new school, and maybe I should now begin to answer some questions that you may have and also give you some more information through your questions. So Anudeep, can you help me to look at the questions that may be coming up from the audience? Okay, let me answer one question about what some of the students are asking us about AICTE approval. Where are the questions? My colleague from the tech department will now look at the questions. Okay, so I think Divyanshu Agarwal is already beginning to ask application process for MBA. Well, Divyanshu, the process is like this, that the soft marketing for the new campus has already started. Our process for building the new campus construction is in advanced stages. Even today we were at site. I think the building is 95% complete. 5% more will be completed over the next 4 to 6 weeks. AICTE will send its team for inspection to our building end of February or beginning of March. Then they have their own time to evaluate and come to their decision. By the first week of April, AICTE will announce the final approval to our program. That is the time we will confirm that you are now part of an official government-approved AICTE 2-year program. Before that, we will offer you a provisional admission, which is not really, which cannot be called an AICTE approved program admission, but that is like giving you our interest that we have found you prima facie suitable. The legal process for getting admission to the 2-year program only begins after the government approval comes. So after that, we can formalize your admission and offer you a formal program in which you pay the full fees in advance, which is, with fees is of course paid 4 times over the 2 years. But what will happen is that the government approval process will be now kept into motion. As far as application is concerned, there are 4 parts to our application. 1, you fill in our application form. 2, you take the soil test. You should have already taken one of the government approved tests like CAT or GMAT or SAT or one of those tests, and you should have got a score. If you have not taken it, you should have get a quick score on one of those now. Soil test, a government approved test, a comprehensive application, and then what we call the talent appreciation process. In the talent appreciation process, where our interviewers get to discover your talent, there is a creative simulation we put you through. Along with the creative simulation, there are some very interesting questions that we spend a lot of time with every student to understand what you are dreaming about, what you care deeply about, what are you good at, what have been the instances where you have done your best. What do you bring to this class? Because we want to make sure that the first batch of the School of Business Design is truly high quality and unique. So there may be many people who may apply whom we may not be able to offer admission because we are trying to build diversity in the class. And we are going to be pretty choosy about whom we wish to admit. And in this process, then, we will confirm your whole admission once you have gone through the entire process, and our director for admission will finally confirm that you are amongst the chosen ones who are being offered this process. You must know that you are going to work with some of the best companies right through the 2 years. We are going to have you working in the field with companies or with the community 1 day in a week, which means pretty much over the 100 weeks, you would have spent 100 days in the field. along with the other immersion programs like the internship, the global immersion, rural immersion, the train journey, which means something like 11 more weeks, which is something like another 55 days. So it's a lot of time outside the classroom to enrich your learning and to make it really holistic. All this is part of the School of Business Design. Mohit, you talked about AICTE approved. Mohit, for the last 10 years, we have been running a one-year program that we chose not to go to government for approval because that's a very unique one-year program. ISB and SOIL both decided in the beginning not to go to AICTE. But for the 2-year program, which is for which the webinar is being held today, which is our new campus in Manesar, that will be government approved. The process has already started. The government committee will be coming in March to evaluate our campus. And by first week of April, we should get our confirmation on AICTE approval. And only then you can choose to pay your full fees and get admitted in the program if you are fortunate to be offered admission. So that's what this idea is. Suraj Krikar is saying hello. Aman Sodi, you had a discussion with the marketing team of SOIL, although the website says NMAT exam score is accepted, but the team denied. Well, let me look into it, Aman. I'm not aware of what you are talking about, but I will definitely talk to the team. If you can directly send on this through this forum your email ID. My student from my current batch, Anudeep, is sitting with me. Anudeep will note down your email ID and we will clarify this to you on whether NMAT is accepted or not. I am currently not aware of what they have told you. Let me find out what this is about. More questions from your side? You and Suraj Kraigar wants me to check your website, www.kraigar.in. So let me try to see what this is about. www.kraigar.in. Okay. Made India's Education Network, making India 100% literate. The future of our country rests on our ability to successfully educate the next generation. And the team, your team, Dr. Sundar, Sandeep Rohila, advisors Rajesh Jha, Sumit Agarwal, expert panel, Ravi Kumar, and squadron leader Manish Kumar. So seems very interesting. So yeah, so I have read your website. Now what would you like me to respond to? If you can follow up your question, I just briefly saw your website, Suraj. So you can let me know what you want me to respond to about the website that you made me see just now, which I'm fine. Then we are receiving a lot of students who are visiting our campus, also visiting the new site at Manesar, and some of the questions they are asking us, I would like to share with you. One of the things they asked us is that when you call yourself that SOIL provides transformational learning, what does that mean? So I will talk about the 10 years of experience in SOIL. There are 4 parts of transformational learning. 1, we are the only school that publishes student feedback very openly. Students rate every course and every faculty member on the quality of the course and its content, the quality of pedagogy, and the competence and enthusiasm and the approach of the faculty member. Consistently over 10 years, our ratings are always above 4 on a 5-point scale. This is very unusual for a school of higher education. Many of our faculty members receive ratings above 4.5. If the rating is below 4, we put the faculty to a coaching and counseling process so that the faculty rating can become higher. So outstanding faculty rating because of the deep commitment of faculty. We practice a lot of simulations in the classroom. We do a week-long theater intensive to understand values. We go for a week-long trip to the Himalayas and stay in an ashram and go and visit villages and learn out of the transformation work that has happened there. We have yoga and meditation classes to make us more self-aware and improve our creativity. We practice a lot of simulation in the class so that people really understand. For example, when we teach the role plays through consulting, you are actually a client and a consultant, and you are given live projects in which you participate. So the whole methodology is deeply transformational. And right through the education in soil, there is one common theme. How do you lead yourself? That means, how do you lead your own physical perception? How do you observe? How do you listen? How do you communicate through touch? How do you build physical well-being by eating healthy? By making sure that you learn how to breathe properly. So this aspect of physical well-being. Then how do you lead your emotional well-being? In soil, we have a culture of the morning circle in which we celebrate the birthdays of staff members and students. And we don't just say happy birthday. Students encourage each other by appreciating them for what the others are doing and what are the strong positive points in others. We learn to say thank you. On 22nd January, we will be celebrating Parents' Day, where we will be thanking all the parents of our students and staff. So this is a culture where by doing this, by learning the culture of appreciation and gratitude, we are improving our emotional well-being. Then there is this aspect of intellectual well-being. In that, we are encouraging students to learn the habit of learning in the method that is best suited to them. Some of us learn through reading. Some of us learn through writing. Some of us learn through doing. Some of us learn by observing others. Some of us learn through dialogue. The whole idea is to practice different methods of learning so that we can not only remember what we studied, but we also learn to apply it, and only then we get deeper understanding of what we are doing. So this whole approach on transformational learning. Then lastly, at the end of the year, the students are asked to report every time. The outgoing batch is asked to anonymously rate their own transformation over the 1 year. And I can tell you, every year the results are outstanding. In an anonymous, confidential way, students report the huge amount of improvement in their aspects. Not only emotional, physical, and intellectual well-being, the last part is also spiritual well-being, which is to develop a sense of higher purpose, to understand how can you use your own talent to make the world better. Learn to spend time in silence. Learn to quieten down and develop that ability to witness your own mind so that you can overcome all your fears and develop inner confidence and poise. And all these are part of the self-leadership program that goes on throughout the year. Then we create an ecosystem for your transformation learning. In the first 2 weeks of the program, you are encouraged to make an individual development plan. We put you through a development center. Then an internal mentor is assigned to you to continuously talk to so that you can develop. There's an external mentor that is offered to you to bounce your ideas with an external mentor to improve your development. And all this is part of this development journey. Also, halfway through the program, you are given 360-degree feedback from your classmates so that you can get enriched from feedback from peers and you can learn from that. And this is also part of the transformational learning. So we do lots of such experiments to make our schools learning really rich and understood. So these are some questions people ask. People also have asked us questions about, well, Priya Kasturi wants to ask, how will design thinking help us and what placements can we expect from the same? Priya, design thinking is the hottest new subject worldwide, whether it is Harvard Business School or Stanford Business School, London Business School, ISB, soil itself for the last 3 years. The whole principle of design thinking is the one which has been used by Google, Facebook, Apple to make extremely innovative products and services. And a large number of Indian companies are beginning to follow that. Infosys, when Mr. Sikka joined, started design thinking. Now all its successors, including the new leadership team in Infosys, is practicing that. Wipro is implementing that. HCL Technologies, Tech Mahindra, you name it, Volvo Eicher. We have helped Volvo Eicher leadership team to implement design thinking. Soil Consultancy Division, I personally led the project to work with the world's largest telecom infrastructure company, Indus Tower, where we helped by using design thinking to make a 5-year strategic plan for that organization. When you use design thinking, you come out with fresh ideas, new ideas, both for services and solutions that make the world better. So the power of design thinking is great. And I explained the whole process in the beginning of my presentation. And the placements are likely to be very, very interesting because before setting up the school, we have been consulting all the major companies. We have been going and interacting with senior leadership teams of all our companies and our clients. And all of them are very excited. They particularly like the idea that our students will be working with a company or a community one day in a week, right through the program. And that is going to give the practical understanding of each other, and that will make the students much more attractive. When we started Soil 10 years back, this question was asked to us, what about placements? In the very first year, the students doubled their salary by studying 1 year with us. In the first year in Soil, the students had an average salary of 3 lakhs when they joined. When they walked out, they had an average salary of nearly 7.5 to 8 lakhs. That was 10 years back. And the fees that time was 8 lakhs. In the last 10 years, the fees has increased from 8 lakhs to 15 lakhs for the business leadership program. The average salary has gone up from 7.5 lakhs to 10 lakhs. And some people have got much more. And the ROI continues to be one of the strongest in the country. That means what you invest in education and Soil and the kind of differential in salary you get when you get a good job, the return on investment and payback period of Soil is one of the best in the country. It compares favorably with any of the top institutes anywhere in the world. And so I think because of our strong industry partnerships, we have absolutely no doubt that we will get good support from industry. As far as cutoff is concerned, we deliberately don't give any cutoffs, but between you and me, there is a weightage given to marks from CAT or GMAT. Nearly 1/3 of the weightage is given to the marks you get in these competitive exams. On top of that, we have our own Soil exam that we make you take. We give weightage to that. After that, there is weightage given to the kind of achievements you have through your academic career. If you have consistently done well, that is given weightage. Then we give weightage also to your achievements in other fields like music or literature or NGO work, or if you're a national level sportsman, we give weightage to that. Or if you have published or if you have written something, we give importance to that. And finally, we give importance to the way you come across in terms of your values, in terms of your talent to us when we do the talent appreciation process. So all these are given weightage before we decide whether you are eligible to joining our charter batch in the new 2-year program. Okay. I think one of the other questions that was asked by one of the students who came with his parent to see our new campus, and I happened to be around on the site that day. This was on, a few weeks back, end of December. And the new student and his father, who is a senior leader in Ericsson, they were talking to me as to, I asked them, how did you hear about Soil? So that person said, my daughter works with Ernst & Young, and her boss is an ex-student from Soil. So I was very pleasantly surprised with that. And then he said that the director of that Ernst & Young practice is your colleague whom you had recruited as a fresh MBA in the consulting company Grow Talent that owns Soil and which started Soil. So I was pleasantly surprised with that. And then, of course, there are many such stories. Over the years, I've had the very good fortune of developing a lot of wonderful people. In the company called Eicher, where I worked for 25 years, where I became a young board member at 35, and where we co-founded Eicher Consultancy Services. That company has produced more than 100 CEOs of major companies and 100 heads of HR. In fact, just yesterday we celebrated the fact that Manu Sani, the CEO for International Cricket Council, was a young engineer from BITS Pilani whom we took in Eicher and who started his career in our Faridabad plant. So it's a source of great joy that what we did in iShare and iShare Consultancy continued in Grow Talent, continues in Soil, and there is a whole community of leaders around the world that support Soil. For example, the chairman of Accenture in India, that is, the chairman of Accenture in India is Rekha Menon. She was a young MBA from XLRI whom iShare had recruited and put in our Parvanu plant. And it has been a source of joy to see her grow to become #1 in Accenture in India. So these are all colleagues, and so many of them who are, some amazing people worldwide. And so what we created in iShare together as a special, unique culture, we practiced in iShare Consultancy and we helped other companies to learn. In Grow Talent, we took it to the next level. And in Soil, we have converted all of that into an education that makes a difference. The Soil School of Business Design is the latest in that thinking. So I would say the journey for us started from iShare to iShare Consultancy, to Grow Talent, to Soil Part 1 and Soil Part 2. And therefore, we are very blessed to have this network of relationships all over the world. In fact, I just missed a call from Mr. Muthuraman, the past vice chairman of Tata Steel, who's calling me, because he and I are going and meeting some people shortly in Bangalore about the new school. So, so that's why I will be calling him after this conversation. More questions, more comments from your side? Is there anything else you want to know from me, or is there any comment you want to give to me? Aman Sodhi said, sir, you said this program is best for freshers. For someone like me who has 1.9 years experience in marketing domain, will this course be beneficial? Well, it's like this, Aman, we do not, we say it is also meant for freshers because our existing one-year program, we don't allow freshers unless that fresher is a very exceptional fresher who has done some amazing work. So we don't allow too many freshers to join the existing one-year program. So, but in the new 2-year program, since 70% of the business schools in India take freshers, we are emphasizing the need for education for freshers. But we are very sure that even though that is for freshers, there will be people like you who will also apply. So since you have got 1.9 years, if you are an exceptional candidate, you can also apply for our one-year program. But I would say there are many students like you with even more than your experience who will also apply for the 2-year program. A, because they have a preference for a 2-year program. B, because they want to learn this whole subject of liberal arts, design thinking and management education, the new unique program. So I think you can feel if the choice is entirely yours, but if the idea of the new design thinking field excites you, then I would encourage you to join the new program, or at least apply. I don't know whether you will join and whether you are offered admission, but that's a separate matter. Diana Kasturi message is retracted. So there was some message she gave but retracted. I don't know what that's about. Any other question you have on this program? I just want to tell you that we are all very excited about this new campus. We are getting faculty from around the world to teach here. We are getting some amazing faculty from even local institutions, whether it is JNU or there are some wonderful people who have worked in NID in Ahmedabad, National Institute of Design. We are getting some exceptional faculty from around the world, including a top professor in marketing who is of Iranian origin from California. And of course, we have some amazing faculty from other parts of the world, including we hope to have a big exchange with the Japanese leaders who are doing the similar work. So it's going to be truly, I wish I was your age again and I wish I could go back to school and actually do the 2-year program all over again. But I hope to join many of your classes. I hope to be a student with you to observe how the new program is rolled out. And I hope to once again become a fellow learner to understand how this is impacting you and your families and society. Okay, so Aman, you have thanked me and you are really looking forward to attend the entire selection process. So I also look forward to welcoming you into this process. I just want to say to you that I am on the academic council of SIDAP in Fontainebleau, which is the leadership institute set up by INSEAD. For the last 7 years, I am part of their academic council. I also teach in their flagship program called the General Management Program, or GMP. And I just want you to know, I also teach in our global leadership program that is held in Silicon Valley, in Europe, and in Japan. And in all those areas, to senior leaders, we have been teaching the subject that we are offering you also, including the whole issue of the domain of inspired leadership and self-leadership. So there are so many leaders around the world who are learning with us this whole subject. And so I feel blessed that I'm also able to share that knowledge with young leaders like you. And I can also tell you that each one of my faculty members in SOIL, many of them could have been senior leaders in major companies outside, but they have chosen to be in academics because they love the process of teaching and learning. And that is why that is a very unique part of SOIL. The dedication and love and affection of the faculty is quite exceptional. So I want to thank you for this time this evening, and I look forward to meeting each one of you during the next few weeks as a result of this process. Thank you very much for listening, and thank you very much for your questions and your interaction.